Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the Couch Co-op Show. I'm your host, Ian. Please do me a favor and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Couch Co-op Shows, all one word, or you can find us here on Twitch at Couch Co-op Shows. Remember, all one word, no hyphen. Let's get to the show. Tonight, joining me on the couch is Twitch streamer Cenewulf. Thank you so much.
Hey, you got it right.
Yeah. I don't know what you want me to call me. You want me to call you by your first?
You can call me Wolf. You can call me Cenewulf. It doesn't matter. I just appreciate, like, right off the bat, bam, hard C. He got it right. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. We've never formally met. I'm Ian, by the way.
I'm Chris.
Nice to meet you, dude.
There we go.
I've chatted in your stream quite a few times. I don't know if you know this, but I found you through, we have a mutual streamer buddy, Yusef.
Oh, yeah, Yusef. Yeah. He knows how to lay down the jams, dude. Like, for real. I miss in-person tournaments.
That dude's really cool and a great guy. Knows a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, thanks for being on the show tonight. How you doing?
Thanks for inviting. Got some things I'm dealing with, but, every day I got to get up.
Yeah, like everybody.
Get ready for work.
Yeah.
Go home, start the show, try to put some smiles on some people's faces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, something we like to do on this show when we have I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, but the main questions we like to ask, like kind of the origin, man, what was that first video game? How did you get into video games? What was that first time like, bro? Like, who brought it to you?
Okay, it was my grandma. Because my grandma's a gamer.
Right.
I shit you not. My first video game was Dr. Mario.
Okay.
Because she was into, like, puzzle games and shit like that. So she had Tetris, she had Dr. Mario, she also had Zelda because she loved Zelda a lot. And I remember being like 2, maybe 3 years old, doing the whole, how your parents do, the whole hand over hand, showing me how to move
right.
the pills and rotate them, and telling me what I gotta do, and then showed me how to play Zelda and stuff like that.
What was it about? Yeah. What was it about video games that just, like, drew you in?
I don't know, man. To be honest, I just don't know. It just drew to it. I mean, I guess maybe it's just the whole family are all gamers, so it just kind of is like this natural thing. And give me one sec.
Oh, no problem.
I'm not sure if you hear him, but the co-host of my show is like, "Let me in."
Hey, we got a pup.
Come on. Yes. Oh, there you are. Oh, come here. This damn cat. I can't go anywhere without him, I swear to God.
I'm done. Let me in, yo.
Buddy. Now he's like, holy shit, why'd you bring me over here? And it's like, dude, you fucking knocked on the door. Now I'm going to show you off.
Yeah. What's his name? Her name?
His name is Calcifer.
All right.
Like, did you ever see Howl's Moving Castle?
I have, yes.
So yeah, remember the little flame?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then he just chills.
Cool. So the next question then, like, you play everything from what I've heard, but do you have an all-time favorite video game that you will, like, always play forever?
Ooh, see, the problem is I've got like 2 or 3, maybe 4.
Well, knock them out.
All right. A Link to the Past.
All right.
Final Fantasy IV.
Right.
Street Fighter 2, The New Challengers.
Oh.
And Romance of the Three Kingdoms 4.
And now, 3 of those games are kind of in a similar vein, and then one is totally different. So how does the one fighting game get in there?
It was mostly my dad. See, my dad played a lot of, like, more of the action games out of the family, and he was also the one who played the fighting games. I remember him and my mom used to, like, argue with each other because he'd be whooping her ass, and and the thing was, she was a gamer too, and she would buy the games and shit, and then she would get mad when people would beat her ass.
Right. So in a family where video gaming is so big, like, is there, like, constant, like, vying for the console? back then? Like when you were a child, like when you were a kid, like what was gaming like in your household, man?
Well, honestly, it was a little rough to an extent because, when there was a point in our lives where my folks got bankrupt, lost the house and everything, and we tried to stay current and stuff because we did bounce back and all
Right.
that shit. But we were always a generation behind. Like when I finally I must have been like maybe like 5, 6 years old, somewhere around there, and I got the original Game Boy, the brick from the
Right.
pawn shop,
Right.
while everybody else was like getting Game Boy Colors and shit. And then when I finally got the game, well, I was the cool kid for a little bit, because when Pokemon Yellow came out back in like what was that? God, I'm dating myself doing it. Was that 99? Yeah, somewhere around 99.
Trust me,
My
dude.
mom.
I'm older than you, bruh.
Oh shit. Okay, cool.
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess. I'm old. I'm 42, so I'm guessing I'm older.
Yeah. You
So
don't look it, bro.
I get that
This is
all the
good.
time. I get that all the
Hmm.
time.
I do too. But
Pokemon. Yeah. Okay.
Pokemon Yellow. My mom actually hooked me up with like the bundle pack
Right.
back in the day that had like the special edition one, and I broke the rules every single day, brought it to school, showed that shit off, because that's what kids did.
Right.
You
Right.
got the special this, that, or the other. It was the same thing when we had Pokemon cards back in the day. It's like, but yeah, we were still always a generation behind up until maybe like high school.
Uh huh.
And because like we were mostly a Sega and a Sony house where I
Oh.
stayed at.
Okay. Okay.
My mom and my dad, they were all Nintendo
Okay.
completely.
Okay.
But now granted we had some Nintendo systems, but we stayed more current with Sony.
And where are you now? Are you split evenly, or do you still sit to one side?
I'm looking at a Nintendo Switch on top of a PS4 right next to the PC right here.
Do you prefer, or do you not? You don't care.
It's just wherever
Just
the energy is, man.
that's right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Um. So do you? So like gaming back then, like retro gaming's huge right now, but like, is there something that is missing from back then that today?
Risk versus reward. Already had to answer. Risk versus reward. It feels like games today have taken this Care Bear approach. Now I get it. I understand. You want to appeal to a wider audience, but like even in the retro days, we still dealt with. We didn't get like Super Mario Brothers 2 is like a prime example.
Right.
When they brought the demos over, they were like, "Nah, this is too hard. Nobody's gonna buy it." You know,
Right.
I would have bought the shit out of that house. you know,
Right.
because I can run through Mario Brothers in like 30 minutes.
Right.
Do some
So
hard shit.
so then video games. At what did it ever like becoming a streamer? How does that happen? What just makes you decide that? Like,
Well,
did you hear about it?
well,
What?
see, I already segued into it a little bit, like back when Facebook first started their live. That's where I started actually. I started on Facebook Live because when I found out about it, I was only doing music at that time.
Uh
I was, uploading videos and all of that stuff. And then I found out about the live option, and I didn't see a whole lot of video games then, but I tried, eventually I heard about Twitch and I tried it back when I was still, oh God, I'm still with my folks. But there's shit internet, so I couldn't make anything happen, so I stopped. Then when
huh.
I moved out here to the West Coast and gave it another shot, now that I'm own pad, figure out my own internet, make sure I get the best for my buck, all of that shit. I was like, let me go ahead and give this another shot, and it's like it feels like when I go.
That's a
Sorry,
great ringtone.
yeah. Ironically enough, it's stuff I can't talk about.
That's funny.
Anyway, uh, fuck, where were
We're just streaming. Like, what got you into it?
mostly this it gave me like the first time I did it, it gave me the same feeling when I go to an open mic.
Okay.
Because I've been playing guitar for like 10, 15 years now,
Uh-huh.
somewhere around there. I've been to open mics, I've been to jams, I've driven hours just to play in somebody's fucking barn.
Right.
So like it's like, yo, I have this opportunity that I can play music for literally whoever clicks this link, like right then and there, instead of waiting for me to put up some video like days later. And I was like, holy shit, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
Right.
And then I realized, and then when I first started streaming on there, I immediately, given the platform, noticed that there's a lot more people playing video games
Right.
too. But all I had at the time for streaming equipment really was just the PS4.
Right.
So I was streaming through that for a little bit, and it was okay, but I mean, it wasn't really doing the job
Right.
and shit,
Right.
you know. So then I was like, I'm already a PC gamer to an extent, so I got some parts to get a capture card going, and then started upgrading the stream, and now it's like, now we're here.
Is it
Now we're
like a
here.
is it a full-time job for you then? Like kind of at a point or no?
No, I mean, it feels like it,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I do have a day job, right?
Right.
And it's like I do have a career that's actually like near, it's something that's close to the heart. Like
Uh-huh.
I do IT support for a company that does cardiovascular implants,
Oh, okay.
and like 50-60% of my family has heart problems.
Okay.
So it's like, this is something that's actually like near and dear to me, and it's a job I know that I could do,
Right.
and also feel, can't help but feel pride in doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So you
Um,
you mentioned a little bit earlier, like you didn't. Maybe I interpreted it wrong, but like when you came out here and the streaming, you realized how many more people played video games. Was that something that you weren't kind? Did I interpret that wrong, or were you like didn't realize
I
that
mean,
there was such a
I,
huge group of people playing video games?
I sort of came into it because the few friends I made starting out were also streamers, and I catch their stuff,
Right.
and they played games here and there, but they only streamed like 1 or 2 days a week at the
Right.
most. And
Right.
it was just whenever they felt like it. They weren't like, no, this is my channel, this is my brand, this is what I'm building up, this whole Twitch persona and all of this stuff. They're just like, I just do it for fun, which there's no problem with doing it all.
Right.
But it gave me a false sense of what was on Twitch.
Okay. Okay.
And it's like, now granted, you go on Twitch right now and the highest category is still just chatting.
Right.
So it's like, it's really hard to tell what's going on Twitch. But
People want interaction, right? They want to
yeah,
they want to interact with people some way somehow.
yeah,
That's
and
that.
especially now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously you are who you are, but you still can you talk about like designing a brand and like what games do you decide to play? What kind of streamer are you? Can you kind of talk about that decision, like what that's
Well,
like?
I mostly decided because of my variety of interests in gaming that, if I were to sit there and lock myself down to just one genre or just one series of games, I was gonna burn out super quick. I am too ADHD for that shit, man.
Right.
So I figured it would be better for my own sanity to just go ahead and be a variety streamer, because I feel like I'm not trying to, fluff up my ego, but I feel like I have a lot of awesome things that I can share with people, and I think that I can't just constrain it just to one particular topic or facet. There's
Right.
multiple facets to me, and I want to share all of those. I've even done, like, I've actually, when I was starting to learn Python, I actually did a couple streams where I shared my stream and screen. Words are
Right.
hard.
Right.
I was sharing my screen, there's the word, with all the code, and I had one of my buddies come in, and he was actually teaching me, as I was going, and the chat was able to like more or less learn Python right there while I was trying to design a game. I was trying to make a text-based RPG, like one of the like super
Oh,
super
right.
old school ones where it's literally you just like press 1 to do this, press 2 to do this, and then it just narrator goes through, because I figured that'd be a pretty cool way to learn Python.
Right. Do you find that streams that aren't gaming, that are kind of do something different, they get a good reaction or no?
I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but that's kind of on me because I guess I'm not afraid to admit it. I probably spend more hours streaming than I do watching other streams, and I am working on that because it's a hard it's a hard thing to get into your head when you start out. I
Well,
wish
even
somebody
just
would
for
have told
you,
that.
even just doing like the Python or like you do the music stuff, do you find that that stuff gets a better reaction from your group or no than video games?
Well, it's hard to say because most of my chat lurks.
Okay.
So like unless it's people that I like talk to outside of the stream and like outside of Discord, I don't really get a whole lot of chatter right now.
Uh huh. Is that
But
is that weird as a streamer? I mean, you have you have
um,
a lot of followers. For I mean, more than we do. Like for instance, or Yusef. I think we're in like in the hundreds, and you're like in like almost 600. So I mean,
yeah, somewhere around there. I don't know. It's just I think part of it is because of the variety.
okay.
Because like when I made affiliate when Mario Maker 2 came out,
Uh huh.
but the problem was, when I started playing other games, most people were there to see Mario Maker, so I don't really see those folks anymore
Right.
because I don't really play Mario Maker, and that's sort of one of the trade-offs of being a variety streamer is that as I move on to other games, they're definitely going to move on as well unless they're there for my personality and for hanging out with me as
Right.
opposed to watching the game, which as long as they're having a good time, awesome. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And
You know.
this might be that answer, but as cliche as what is your favorite thing about streaming? Like, what is it? What is it for you?
That's a damn good question, actually.
Like, what makes you
uh,
keep coming back?
the few times somebody tells me that I turned their day around.
All right.
Because I've had when I did a 24-hour stream, I had somebody come in and we were watching Fist of the North Star on stream and all of that shit,
Right.
and they had never heard about it before,
Oh wow.
and so I was like, oh sweet, then you need to hang out, come watch these movies, because we watched the entire Pentology movie set.
Uh huh.
And by the end of it, they were like, "Oh my god, I was having such a terrible day, and I hung out here, and now I'm feeling so much better." And that's honestly what I come back for. That's why I hit the go live button, is because I want people to feel that.
It's awesome. Now you just mentioned a 24. What was a 24-hour stream like, man? Like, have you only
Well,
done one? Have you done it more than once? Like,
I've done it twice.
oh man.
The first time I did it was my first time going solo for Extra Life.
Okay. Oh, what was
Um,
that like? That first time?
That shit was wild, dude. Now, granted, I don't really do energy drinks, so I was already at a disadvantage.
Right.
But man, I had so much food lined up and ready. I was scarfing down shit like a
What
motherfucker
were
that
those last
whole time.
hours like? What were those last hours?
Oh, dude, I put on like some lo-fi and just like a bunch of still psychedelic images and took like a 30-minute nap and then finished it out. I did the same thing with the last one too.
What made you decide to do it again?
Well, now granted, I didn't find out till later that the user trolled me, but I thought that somebody redeemed the channel point reward for it because
Oh,
apparently
I
there's a way
see.
on Twitch where I guess if you type things in a different way,
Gotcha.
it looks like they redeemed a reward, and I fell for that shit.
So
But I still had a good ass show, and that was the show that person came
oh,
in.
that's awesome. See?
So it was worth it in the end.
Yeah, that's kind of karma in a way, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's crazy. Um, how do you find, like, obviously there can be a negative side to Twitch sometimes, but how do you find the
Yeah.
community overall? Like, what do you think of it and
You
people you've
know,
met?
it's it's a mixed bag for me now. because I'm not sure if you know or remember, but there was a time where I was live streaming the protests down in Portland.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, and I got to see that side of Twitch, and having not seen that side of people in general in a while, at least since I left Florida, it was an experience.
Right.
And, it did bring back a lot of painful shit. But those people are very much a minority that just happens to be really, really fucking loud. The overall, all the other communities, all the other streamers I've checked out, I have never felt more welcome.
Right.
And it's always been a chill experience.
Right.
So on a whole, there are some assholes for sure, but there's still enough good people in this community that it's worth being in.
For sure. For sure. What do you think, like, I lost my train of thought for a second. What was I gonna...
It's okay. It's all this Afro-magnetic interference, man.
Jeez. Oh, let me get it. Okay, that's what it was. So with stuff like that, not only are we dealing, we're kind of in the same area. I live in Vancouver and you're in Portland. Obviously those, and all across America, those not riots, but protesting has been happening. That's a thing. And then you have to deal with negative people on Twitch. Then you're dealing with live stuff that's can be heavy or whatever you're dealing with. How do you deal with your mental state streaming? That kind of thing, because it can be draining. It can be draining, and you don't want to do it. How do you keep coming back? How do you take care of yourself, or don't?
I keep focused on my goal, and there's a term that my pops used to say from him being in the military to embrace the suck.
Right.
I'm going to deal with those people, but you know what? They're just standing in my way of what I'm wanting to do. So I'm just going to go through. I'm going to be like water. I'm going to flow through and I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. And I'm going to put on a damn good show.
What are your goals for streaming?
My goal is I want the brand to be large, but I want it to be for the right reasons. I want it to be because folks are coming to hang out because they're having a good time.
Right.
And because I treat it the same way with, before the pandemic, inviting people over. It's like, everybody's welcome at my house. You come through, go ahead, go on the couch, chill out. Go grab a drink out the fridge. There's some leftovers over there because that's how it was, with my folks growing up.
Right.
Hospitality. And my thing is, I want to turn it from the house party to a block party. That's the goal. Turning from a house party to a block party, and we're all having a good time.
Right. So that's gaming on stream. Do you still game not on stream, or do you spend the majority of your time gaming on stream?
I try. That's been the biggest struggle, really, especially when I have new games, because newer games or like games that are sort of like, not really under the radar, because it's like, oh man, I'm having so much fun with this, but then it's like, oh man, I'm having so much fun with this, I should stream this, or oh man, this is really cool, I want other people to check this out, I should stream this. And it's like trying to find that balance is definitely hard, but I definitely do game off stream.
Would you say more or less than on stream?
Less than on stream.
Okay. And then is there stuff that you definitely, like games you just know you can't stream? Like, this is not going to work and you don't bother?
Most of my strategy, yeah. Because I play like Total War. I've got like the second to latest Romance of Three Kingdoms. I think it's like 13, somewhere around there. And it's like most of the folks that have tuned in and have followed over the course of time, they've followed me for everything but those. Okay. So, maybe when I get a larger consistent viewer base, maybe I'll, plug the audience and see what they like. Because again, I'm streaming so that I can put on a good show. And
Right.
it's like, if nobody wants to watch me playing fucking Total War Shogun, then I'm not gonna play it. That's cool. That's fine.
Right, right, right. And
Totally fine.
other games that you know, or what games do you stream that you just know are hits, like you know people want to watch?
So far it's been these ROM hacks of Super Mario World. I've been getting into the ROM hacking community on Twitch, and God, those fucking levels are ridiculous. Now, granted, I was already playing Mario Maker, so I had a general idea about Kaizo,
Uh-huh.
but as I've started to complete these games, I've noticed I've been getting noticed more.
Right. Interesting.
You know, it's like, because like I'm managing to finish some of these a lot quicker than I guess they anticipated. Like, I don't really know. I'm happy that I'm getting the damn shit done, honestly, because I watch them play it and they make it look easy as shit. And then I complete it and then I complete a certain level in like 2 or 3 hours, and they're like, "Holy shit, you passed it in that much time!" And I'm like, "Yeah." And this is like my first time going through it too,
Right, right.
so it's like, I guess there's that whole, oh my god, here's this new guy that's just rolling through and he just beat 2 Kaizo hacks in like 3-4 days and he's never really touched them before.
So right, right, right.
But I know that's been a hit. Playing Genshin Impact has been a hit too, because I'm a fucking weeb. Let's just be real about it.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
new.
I've been playing that. That's been a good hit. Star Wars Squadrons has been a bit of a hit. I've got a buddy of mine from high school and his dad and another friend of mine that have it sometimes. 4 of us, so almost complete a team, and that tends to have a good turnout.
Right.
And my fighting games have a turnout too.
That's good. What I mean, what else are you playing right now? I mean, you just named those games, but is there others? I mean, we can just talk about video games. Like, talk about Genshin Impact a bit. Like, that just
Oh, dude,
dropped.
it's definitely not for everybody.
Right.
If you're not into anime, it's not. You're obviously gonna. Um, it's literally Breath of the Wild, just the anime base. That's the best way I can explain it. Like, even down to the movement and the exploration mechanics, because you have like a stamina meter like you did, and you
Right.
also can glide around, kind of like Link could, and I will say the environment is absolutely beautiful. Now, granted, when I'm streaming it and I go through like all the lush green and shit, I start to fade away except for my hair. The combat is very fun. It definitely requires you to think because of their whole element system and everything. Because it's like, say this slime is ice element. Well, you can use fire to melt it. You could use wind to like send it swirling away. And like, if you have like some sort of like tornado attack, now it's just this tornado of ice, and it's the same thing if
Right.
you did like electricity or fire. And it's like, with all these different elements in play and the different characters having the different elements, it definitely gets into like a strategic kind of scenario of like how you build your party, how you approach the combat, when to do this ability, when to pop this ult, when to get the fuck out
Right.
because you're out of your depth.
Is the transaction element, the in-game stuff, purchase stuff, is that too aggressive, or do you not even need that to play the game? What do you think?
you know, I don't really think it's neat. Like, it's not aggressive, but its presence is. I can understand why people are a little apprehensive, because let's be real, a lot of gacha games are money grabs.
Right.
They are. That's
How
that
they
whole
make their
market.
money. Right.
Yeah, it's basically gambling. But the way this game sets you up, over the course of time, you get the currency that you need to do your pulls. So, and they give it to you pretty abundantly and at the drop of a hat. Like, I actually got like some of their currency when I logged in last night, because they shut the servers down for maintenance. They're like, "Hey, thanks for waiting during maintenance. Here you go." And it's like, "Oh shit, now I can buy 2 more of that item I need to do pulls."
Right.
Cool. So it's like, there's so much to do in the game. that I don't think you'll need to spend money
Money
on
on
it
it.
unless you really want to.
Right. That's cool. And you're
Yeah.
gonna stick with it? I mean, you're in for it, or
Yeah, I'm pretty in for it for
cool.
now anyway. I know in a couple months I'm gonna be going on a retro kick again, and I'm gonna because I picked up a collection of Saga on the
Okay.
Switch,
Okay.
and that contains the first three games in the Saga series, which is Final Fantasy Legend 1, 2, and 3. Those are like the only, besides Adventure, those are the only Final Fantasy games on the Game Boy.
Right.
And I had the very first one growing up, so but I never finished it. So this was like one of those kind of like unfinished business kind of scenarios where it's
Gotcha.
like, all right, I
Gotcha.
got the game now. I don't have to worry about like some little battery on it crapping out and losing my save. Let's
Right.
fucking go. We're gonna finish this now.
Nice.
Now I don't know how it's gonna like how the the stream's gonna react to it since I mean granted it's still retro, but it's another like sort of obscure title,
Yeah, for
you know.
sure. Yeah. Gotcha. Talk about I mean, none of my crew has played Star Wars Squadrons. How is that?
Bruh. Dude, I haven't even moved my fucking flight stick, man. It's still over here. I have it over here, and then I have the other, or rather, that's the HOTAS. I have the flight stick like literally over here on the other side of the computer, just so I can grab it and get set, get geared up, ready to fly out. It's great. I didn't think I would be scratching, EA making a non-cash grab game off my 2020 bingo, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's there's no microtransactions whatsoever.
Gotcha.
And my only gripe is ranked right now
Okay.
because people are bitches. I know that's rude, but a minute into the match and you leave, and the problem with that is when somebody leaves a match, your ranked scores are no longer counted.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And so far, from what I understand, there's no abandonment penalty.
Gotcha.
So if some jackass doesn't like his team and wants to be a dick about it, he gets to just leave with impunity. I don't
Gotcha.
like that.
I
I
gotcha.
feel like for ranked, like if it was doing the unranked stuff or doing versus AI,
Who
okay,
cares?
cool.
Right. Okay.
But if it's like if there's a ranking system, if there's a leaderboard that my ass is trying to get on, I
Right.
don't want people dropping out of shit.
Right.
Let's play the
Hindering
match.
you. Exactly. Are you playing on
Yeah.
PC then with all the flight
Yes.
controls? Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I figured.
Now, granted, I could have got it on the PS4, and I think my flight stick would have been compatible, but I wanted to go ahead with the PC. That way, I would have a little bit of an easier time streaming it.
Uh-huh.
Because I am gonna have to replace my capture card at some point. It's a couple years old. It's starting to every now and then I lose shit, so it's like, yeah, about that time.
Right, right, right. And where are you on, like, I mean, this year for video games, what has been some of the standouts for you? Like new stuff wise?
Okay, polarizing
Uh-oh.
response.
Uh-oh.
I liked the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, I think a lot of people did. No?
Yeah, a lot of people did and did not like the ending
Okay.
because a lot of people are like, this is more Nomura, time travel bullshit, which
Well, it's
it
not
started
really
to
an
sound like.
ending. It's like a to be continued, isn't it?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. People are getting like all up in arms about it, and it's like there's still another 2, 3 parts of shit that they're gonna flesh out.
Right.
And look at how they fleshed out part one. Like, when we were kids or teenagers or whatever playing Seven the original, we blew up the first Mako reactors. Like, yeah, we blew it up.
Right.
Now we're sitting here in our 20s, 30s, and 40s and shit, looking at this shit, and given the fact that we've got some age under our belt and have actually like seen the world around us and everything, it hits so much different. And the fact that they fleshed it out, that's you can't ask for anything better, really.
Right. I
It's
mean,
like you're sitting.
is it surprise? I mean, it's kind of like where that original FF7 came, and then you see this version. Is it kind of mind blowing where video games have like come?
Absolutely. Like, I always like to joke around that there's an alternate timeline somewhere where Nintendo decided to go with discs and
Oh,
Final Fantasy VII was on the N64.
right. What's that world like?
I don't know. We probably don't have COVID at least, so
Games never go on sale though.
Ooh, damn.
Uh,
I'll bite.
okay, gotcha.
No COVID. We're fine. I'll pay a little more. Fuck it.
What? Yeah, man. What else?
Like,
What else have you been playing that you loved?
Final Fantasy VII remake was definitely one. Another one that stuck out to me. Okay, so I did play it for a brief stint, but Animal Crossing did stand out for me because I never played one before.
Okay.
So that one did stand out. I don't really have a whole lot to say about that one because I sort of burned out really quick, unfortunately. Is because it's one of those like negativity purges. So it's like it's one of those games where I have to like, if I'm having a really shit day, it's like, all right, Chris, just sit down, play some Animal Crossing, fuck around with, hitting the other villagers with your net, and, just chill out for a little bit. Then go watch Fist of the North Star and play your fighting games and chill. Just you need a moment to find some balance.
I didn't play Animal Crossing. My wife did. She put like 200 hours in.
Oh,
But it's one of those games where I'm like, what am I even doing? I would be like, what am I even here for? What? Like, I'm just gonna go do something else. Anyway,
that's a smoker's cough.
yeah,
Just for the record.
yeah. So are you getting into the next gen, or are you just gonna stick with PC for a while? What is your?
I am really on the fence because on one hand, I'm like, these shits are too goddamn expensive now. I would rather set that shit aside, make some power moves and shit.
Right.
And then another side of me is like, is simultaneously like, they haven't announced fighting games yet.
Oh, right, but
And Final Fantasy 16 is a PlayStation exclusive, and it's going to be mature rated.
yeah,
And to add on to that, Yoshi P, the guy who did 14 in the story and all of that shit, he's the one behind this one. And I played 14. I've been playing it since like 1.2. So that's
wow,
like 2013, somewhere around there.
right.
So it's like I've watched this game's journey, and I saw this guy resurrect this game literally from the dead. He literally had a moon destroy the world.
Oh yeah, no, there was a documentary by No Clips, I think, and I watched, and they show at first where all the people are protecting the kingdom from all these NPCs. Like they kept just onslaught. They kept adding more and more NPCs, and more people just kept fighting them until.
Oh
finally...
yeah, that was then the cutscene.
Yeah. Anyway,
I missed that, unfortunately.
there's
my graphics card crapped out.
there's a. I mean, you're obviously a huge Final Fantasy guy, and I want to get to that in a second, but I've never been a huge Final Fantasy guy. It's never been my thing, but I did get really into 14. We did, a bunch of my friends, we played online, and that I really actually love that game, and I wish it didn't still have the monthly cost. I would still play, but I don't know. That's one of those things.
Two sides to that.
I know there is. I know.
We can, and I definitely would like to talk about that.
Oh, go ahead. We can talk about it. You want to talk about it?
So I understand why people like free to play more, because it's like, I'm not paying $12, $13 to do this, but from an IT person's perspective,
for sure,
I don't want to do my shit for free. And the other side of it, and I think this is the most important side of it, is if you're paying a subscription to a game, that's basically an obligation to them that they need to come up with a quality product.
For sure.
That's why most of these free to play games, it's like, yeah, they're cool for like a month and a half maybe, and then they tank because they're free to play. The only way they're able to make money is off of the microtransactions, and then we go back into all of that crap. But I don't knock people, but I also want them to understand that, that other side of it.
I understand that 100%. And I never had a problem paying for it monthly. I think it's just like then you have other games that move in and you need to move on, and it's just hard for me to start paying all these subscriptions for games. I don't I mean, Final Fantasy 14 has been really good with constant content, and I mean, I
Mhm.
almost came back for the 2B stuff and that Ray. I mean,
I
because
did.
I'm a huge Near Automata guy. I love that shit.
Oh,
And so, and I almost came back. It's not that I want the game to move to free to play. I just can't afford to like pay all these games, you know.
right, and that's understandable because you're looking at it from a budget perspective, and it's like, yo, I really like this game, but I can't pay for this right now because I got all these other games I want to pay for right now. That's understandable,
I wish there
but
was a
it's like,
way. I wish there was a way like I mean that's old content now. I wish there was a budgetary way to like get in, and
well,
it
see,
wasn't
here's
as
the thing.
expensive, you know.
Well, see, here's the thing. From what I understand, with one of the latest patches of Final Fantasy 14, they expanded the free to play. It used to be like up to like level 30.
Right.
Now you can play up to the end of Heaven's Ward.
Oh, okay. Really?
So it's like yeah, and that's a lot of
Oh, I'd
content.
have to check that out
It
then. I'm gonna have to
like,
look into that.
now granted, if you know life it, you might finish it in a week or two, and that's another issue in the free to play pay to play debate are the faction of people that are no lifers, because
Right.
they sort of cause these knee jerk reactions
Right.
from developers because it's like, okay, we're done with the content. It's like, yo, it just came out last week, homie. Shit, damn.
Sometimes
you
I'm
know,
like that. I mean, I have a life,
yeah,
but sometimes I'll eat content.
yeah, for sure, I get that, but it's like they're the folks that only do that.
Right. 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 Right.
It's like if at the very least exercise a little bit more.
Right. Right.
Don't pressure the developers so much because it's like, if we're paying them for this service, yes, we need to make sure they give us a quality product, but we also need to make sure that we're not dicks in the
For
process.
sure.
Because that's going back to IT. I've dealt with plenty of assholes. I'm
Right.
over the years where it's like, you're trying to do your absolute best to make sure they're taken care of, and they
Right.
still don't understand it. Now, granted, you still do your job, you still take care of them, but that shit weighs on you.
For sure.
And it's like, we don't want to put that pressure on developers, especially considering how long some of these folks have been at this. And it's like, you got to figure out where the story goes next, and you got all this other shit going on, and it's like the last thing you need is a bunch of people that are like, "No, we're finished, bring the next patch," and it's like,
That's just how, but that's the nature of this beast,
yeah,
man. At this point,
yeah,
man, it's like,
it's sad, really, because it's like and part of it is because of the way MMOs changed over the years,
right.
really. Because
Right.
it's like it went away from that sandbox perspective of games like Ultima Online and Star Wars Galaxies to this theme park style of MMO where
Well,
everything's
games
on
as a
rails.
whole. I mean, you
Yeah,
think
and
about
it's
it. I
like,
mean, yeah.
yeah, and it's like it's become more about instant gratification than it has become about experiencing the world within the game. Like,
Right.
I mean, shit, you probably played RuneScape back in the day,
I know.
right?
I did not play
No,
that.
you
No.
did not play RuneScape. Wow. Okay. Okay, boomer. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, no, no,
Uh,
no, no, no.
no.
My
Okay,
mom
my
is a
bad.
boomer.
Okay,
I'm
fair,
Gen
fair.
X. Gen X.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that. Okay, I got you. My bad. But it was.
Everyone forgets Gen X. It's cool though. We only gave you the best music. It's cool. No.
This is true. Yeah, I mean, you did. Rest in peace, Van Halen.
Anyway.
But it's like, to give that example, I would sooner play one quest in RuneScape than I would 20 quests in World of Warcraft.
Okay.
That one quest in RuneScape actually felt like an actual quest where, like, you actually had to go and do stuff. And if you didn't have certain things, it wasn't like it was just handed to you and it was like an optional button that you like moused over and clicked. It was like, okay, you don't have a high enough level to do this. Well, you're stuck at this part of the quest until you do.
Gotcha.
And it's like that. It made the quests feel more like an achievement than just experience points. And that's where questing and everything else is gone in the MMOs has gone to where it's just a way to get experience points for your character.
Right.
Who really sits down and reads the wall of text anymore?
Right.
Now, granted, as a caveat, I try to on stream, but sometimes I get very self-conscious of my voice when I'm reading shit.
Oh,
So
right.
it's like, after a while, it's like, okay, I'm just
And then sometimes, I mean, I've been in the games like the first Nier has a lot of text in the game that you read, and you kind of feel like, do they care that I'm doing this? Like that I'm reading this off? Should I read it off? There's kind of this like, I don't know. I feel
right.
there's that part.
For me, I think at the very least the people that wrote it do.
Right.
The
Oh, for
rest of
sure.
the folks in there, maybe, but I know the writers at the very least. So, if you feel it, cool, that sort of thing.
My best friend Bill's in the chat, and he's older. He's actually older than I am. He's only a couple years older than I am, but he says RuneScape is great. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I know him and his wife played it. So, let's go back to Final Fantasy for a second. You're a huge Final Fantasy guy. You said Final Fantasy 4 was in your top 3 or 4 games.
Yep, I have beat it on just about every platform it's been on.
Where are you in the whole Final Fantasy? Do you have name a couple good ones that you like and a couple that you don't care about?
Okay.
How's the series?
I'll start off with the one I don't care about, and that's 13.
Okay.
I don't care about 13 or its sequels. I think it was just a bunch of edgy Ice Queen kind of shit that they were trying to do, and they executed it poorly.
And the people that like that trilogy, what do you think?
Cool. That's
Cool.
for you.
That's for you.
Ain't for me. To give you an idea, I bought the game on launch day
Right.
and took it to GameStop a week later.
So you didn't even finish it.
No, now granted I did no life it for like a good 40 hours. I put 40 hours into this game. So.
I hear like 20 hours is still like the tutorial, right? I mean, you're still
pretty much, yeah. After about 20 hours, and it's also after this boss fight that's literally from an MMO gamer perspective, it's just one big DPS check.
Uh-huh.
That Bartandalus or whatever his name was, because if you didn't DPS him down fast enough, his spells just got stronger and stronger, and then he wiped out your party.
So you did not even bother to try the sequels?
I tried X2 and I tried Lightning Returns, and it just didn't really
More
do
the
anything
same.
for me. Yeah, it just felt more the same. I couldn't get myself attached to the characters at all. And it was the same really for the first one, other than I got a little attached to Saz, because it was like, he was literally the brother that was like, man, I don't want to deal with any of this shit. Y'all just wrote me into all of this. Because he is, and it's like, I sort of resonated with that a little bit, because I'm used to getting roped into shit. But
aren't we all?
Yeah, absolutely. But like it didn't really pull me enough that I wanted to finish it.
Gotcha.
Now, as for ones that I like, 4, of course. I still need to finish it, but I am still enjoying Final Fantasy V.
Okay.
6 is a absolute always, that's right there on that, if I'm not quite feeling 4, I'm gonna throw on 6. 14, of course. 11, I still play 11 here and there.
Okay.
And
11's the other MMO one, right?
Yes, that was the first MMO.
That one's still up?
Still up. In fact, 2022 they're doing a special 20th anniversary thing where I think it's going to be, now this is speculation, don't quote me, all that shit, but from what I hear,
heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. I heard it through the grapevine that they're supposed to be doing like some HD remaster to the game, and there's going to be a new scenario.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's like, as someone who didn't get to play it in the beginning and came in years later, this is nice. This gives me an incentive to like, go ahead and keep playing and max out my character the way I want to max them out and shit. and see what this new content is, because the two, I think, lead developers for the game, they still do like weekly live letters and shit,
Okay.
just like 14 does.
Okay.
All these years later, or
Crazy.
rather,
That's
they
really
started
crazy.
it like within like the last year or two. They recently started doing this, where like every week they'll have like a letter and like their live show explaining what's coming up the pipeline and stuff. And it's been a lot of little minor
What are
tweaks,
do you
tweaks.
know? Have you seen or what is like the player count on that game? I mean, is it pretty barren or do you run into a lot of people?
I still, well, I did some research first and I tried, because it's been out for a while
Right.
and it definitely does not have the player base it had in 2002,
Right.
for sure.
For sure.
And there was another major drop off when they brought in the trust system. But for the most part, when I go to the major cities, I still see people.
Okay.
I still see a decent amount. The auction house still has new stuff on it. So it's like, I feel like they have enough of a player base that they're able to maintain the server,
That's cool. That's cool.
and I like that.
Awesome.
Now, I also do play on a couple of private servers. I've experimented a little here and there, but since those are private servers, those are pretty much always going to be barren.
We all
Yeah.
experiment.
Yep, for sure.
My friend
Oh
Bill.
man.
My friend Bill loves
Damn,
Final
I was about to
Fantasy.
say,
He,
speaking of, let me turn off the camera for a sec so I can, get a little bubbly drink.
you can get a bubbly drink.
Oh, you mean I can spark this up?
Oh, you can do whatever you want, buddy.
Oh, well, shit. Well, hold on. I'm gonna be. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that off camera.
All right, do
I'll
it
do
off camera.
that.
My friend Bill.
Yeah.
He loves Final Fantasy VIII. Where are you on Final Fantasy VIII?
Final Fantasy VIII is another unfinished business Final Fantasy for me. I had it back in the day. My third disc would always freeze at the scene where you're in space. That's easily a good 20 plus hours into the game. I was well over halfway through it.
All right.
So I never got to finish it, but what I did play as a kid and what I am trying to finish now as an adult, because I have it on the Switch, I still like it.
Gotcha.
I still think it's a good Final Fantasy. Like in terms of like the new because it was a very ambitious game.
Right.
There were a lot of concepts that we didn't have. We went from like your typical, stuff from Final Fantasy VII, other than, oh, hey, cool, this materia system, to, okay, now you have the junction, you have these support abilities, different magic gives different stats, different things, and there was a lot of ambition, and I love that ambition about it. Now the story, I liked Laguna's side stories more than the main game. The main game was sort of starting to slog a little bit
Gotcha.
by the time I got to that point where my disc screwed up. I was sort of like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on now?
Right.
It's like, wait, he's who that, what? Literally pulling my hair out, and that's a lot of pulling, but
Well, to save your hair, if you want to switch off the cam, give it a rip.
Okay, yeah, let me switch
Leave
off
the audio on though, brah.
Oh, of course, of course, of course, of course.
I just want to remind everyone, check out Couch Co-op shows. Twitter, Instagram,
yeah, for sure.
Facebook, baby. At Couch Co-op shows, all one word, no hyphen.
Damn, I literally got my hand stuck in the jar.
Oh.
Hand stuck in the herb jar, I guess. Not quite the cookie jar.
It's like a cookie jar. Excuse me.
Oh, there we go. All right, cool.
Cow.
Just that whole, plausible deniability. That was just a very bubbly drink.
Yeah, it was very bubbly. So how do you feel about Final Fantasy, like, currently? Do you feel like they're doing a good job with it then? I mean, you okay with it?
I feel like I'm satisfied with it so far, and I think I have this growing confidence that I'm going to be satisfied with 16.
Awesome. So, what else you playing? You got anything other like burning? Like, you looking for? Oh no, what are you looking forward to besides 16? I mean, you interested in Cyberpunk at all? What do you got?
I'm on the fence about Cyberpunk only because I played a lot. I played the tabletop of Shadowrun, So it's like, I'm I'm gonna like admire from afar for a little bit, see how it's received, see if there aren't too many issues, because the temptation is definitely there, especially as a streamer, because it's like, yo, this is a very anticipated
All
game.
right, a lot of people.
But at the same time, if everybody's streaming it, that means it's
Right.
going to be saturated as hell. And it's like, I would rather wait about a week, watch a couple of other streamers play it, see if it's something that would appeal to me, and then play it.
Right.
I've done that a few times. I bought the first Battlefront reboot when it came out.
Meh, it's fine.
Yeah, it was
It looked
fine,
good.
but I was still pretty disappointed.
What are you looking forward to fighting game wise? What are you hoping for?
Well, first off, I'm wanting to see who this last DLC character is for Street Fighter V, and I'm hoping that it's Fei Long.
Okay.
Because besides Ken, that's the only other character I actually liked playing.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been a Ken main since the new Challenger. So
Gotcha.
it's like, all right, I like Ken in this game too. This is great, cool. I want to play as Fei Long though. I want to actually like sit down and learn Fei Long and try to get good with him.
Well, what are your other fighting games then? Do you go to?
Other fighting games are Tekken 7,
Gotcha.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Um, that's really it.
That's
Man.
it. Okay.
Yeah, I tried getting into Soul Calibur 6, and it's kind of fun playing it over at a friend's house, but
Oh, I
it's
love
not.
SoCal 6.
I fell off after 3.
Gotcha.
I
Well,
tried 4.
two is kind of the pinnacle.
Yeah, 2 is definitely the pinnacle for sure. God, I miss ground control now. Fucking Soul Calibur 2
Yeah,
cabinet.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Do you play on a fighting stick or you just use controller?
I still use the controller.
Gotcha.
Now, I'll still, if there's a cabinet for it, I'll still jump on it, and I
Right.
feel like I'm okay on the stick, but I'm so used to pad, and I don't really feel like learning stick just yet.
Right.
You
So,
know,
so what else? What else out there is coming that you think you're really excited for? Or you know?
to be honest, I haven't really been looking too much. I was other than checking out Final Fantasy 16. That's the only one that's ever really like stood out for me.
You got
Like I
enough
watched.
stuff? You got enough stuff to hold you over streaming wise? You think?
I think so, because like as I've been doing more of the ROM hacks and stuff, I've started getting into speed running too. Like I actually, and I'm gonna flex a little bit.
Uh
I
oh.
I just uploaded my run to speedrunners.com. I made a 36 minutes and 5 second run in Ninja Turtles 4 on hard.
Oh damn.
Yeah. If the run is accepted, I now have the 18th fastest time in the world.
Oh damn. What's the fastest?
Let's take a look. I think it's around like 19 minutes or some shit.
Jesus Christ. Shit. That's
Fastest
crazy.
time. Yep, 19 minutes 24 seconds.
Jesus. That's fast.
Yeah, that's hella fast.
Ninja Turtles 4?
Yep.
What the fuck is Ninja Turtles 4?
That was Turtles in Time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the one on the Super Nintendo, like the only one, I
Okay.
think.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That one, yeah.
Do you have
That
any
one
other
was-
speedrun games you're working on or nah?
When I get more into Kaizo and I get more of the tech involved in Kaizo Super Mario World down, I might jump in the speedrunning. I'm thinking about it, but I don't want to be put under the impression that now I'm just a ROM hack streamer
Right.
stuff. I still want to maintain that essence of a variety streamer. So it's like yesterday I was gonna stream more of this recent hack I've been doing called Ekogare, and that one's been an absolute challenge. These first two I did, Quickie World 1 and 2, I managed to actually like.
Isn't Ekugari that's a shoot 'em up, right? No? Am I
No.
thinking of
It's
Ikoragu or something?
maybe.
Ikur.
Yeah, it's called Ekogare Mario World.
Oh,
That's
okay.
that's the name of the ROM hack,
I
is what I
see.
meant
I
to say.
see. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Um, I'm working on that one, and I feel like there's so many ROM hacks, and as more of that community has started hanging out and enjoying the stream in general, even when I'm playing other games, it's like I feel like I have enough of those hacks that I could also play to entertain folks.
Gotcha.
So I've got that, and I've got I have this ridiculously long ROMs folder that, dude. To give you an idea, I started this library was initially floppy disk.
Gotcha.
Each game was a floppy disk. I
Gotcha.
had like 30, 40 fucking floppy disks that I would pop into my shit and use Z SNES, pick the drive, there's the game, load it up.
Gotcha.
And now it's about 70 gigs, somewhere around
Oh,
there.
damn.
Yeah. I've
That's
got, yeah.
how much. I mean, is it all Mario based, or do they work? I mean, I don't
it's,
know anything about this. This is new to me. Like, I didn't know that
it's
they had
mostly,
these ROM hacks.
yeah. So, of course, as you know, just to clear the air. They do fill that gray area of whether or not you're
Right.
pirating stuff.
Right. Right. Right.
But
You have a copy of Super Mario Brothers somewhere.
yeah, I've bought the damn game before at some point, and it's like, is Nintendo really gonna lose that much over a copy of Faxanadu on the NES? I don't really think so, because most people are gonna be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Right.
But I definitely have those to hold me over content wise. I always have the music. Like I've been playing more like
Oh, right. The music.
my recent stream maybe like 2 days ago, I actually, and it was my first time doing it, I actually shared my creative process of how I learn music. I actually had behind me, I had the tabs and everything, and I'm over in the corner playing guitar. And then I would bring up the song itself, have them listen to it. I'm like, that's how I started it actually. I was like, okay, so this is the song I'm gonna be working on today, and I'm gonna play it through it once, and then tell you more about the song and why I'm learning it and all of that stuff, and then just dove right into it for like the next 45 minutes to an hour, just rewinding the song back. Okay, I fucked up at that part. Rewind it back. Okay, now we got it. And I like doing that not just for the entertainment in making the content, but it's also for me as a musician, I'm able to look at this and not only critique myself,
Right.
but also look at my own timeline of where my playing has gone,
For sure.
you know. And so I have that and I've I've contemplated doing D&D on Twitch.
Right.
I've seriously contemplated it because I feel like I have enough like prop equipment and stuff that I could definitely make it happen.
Make it interesting.
Yes,
Cool.
for sure. Um, and there's been more of these games as a no, they're not quite games as a service, but there's been these programs that at the very least I keep getting ads on Facebook of, where it's basically you pay these guys a few bucks a month and you use their program, and it's essentially one big DM toolkit.
Oh, okay.
And this one I got an ad about today, it was like actual like 3D models and shit that moved around instead of like, like paper silhouettes, like with Tabletop Simulator, I think it was.
Okay.
Instead of that, it's like you're paying for like actual models of the monsters to move around, and
Gotcha.
and like
Do you have a
animate
pretty
their.
big? You have a pretty big D&D group you play with, or what?
I did, but as with most D&D groups, when do we actually get to meet regularly?
I know Bill in my chat. They do it over Zoom. I don't know.
Oh yeah, nice. That's what's up. With everything I got going on, personal life, work life, and trying to get the stream, I don't think I have the time just yet
It's
to
another
really,
thing. Yeah.
because it's like not only because DMing, I've been doing it since I was 14.
Right.
and there's a lot involved. There's just so much shit. Even just making the dungeon itself. Even if you just decide to say, all right, I'm just gonna find some website that has a map generator, and then I'm gonna use the Dungeon Master's Guide and just go by the tables. I want to say the first dungeon crawl for my last group took about a week. About a week to write up every room, counters, and all of that stuff, because you don't want to half-ass it.
Right.
But, I mean, now granted, the party usually always goes off the rails. It's not a D&D session if at some point somebody goes off the rails and then you've got to start shooting from the hip.
Right.
But the actual structure of like trying to build that world takes a long ass time.
Right. For sure. For sure. Dude,
yeah,
we've been going for an hour, bro.
Oh shit.
Did you realize that? It was easy, right?
Dude, this was easy as fuck, man.
Is there any other like video game topics that are burning that you want to talk about? Is there anything that's like under your chaps that you want to chat about? If not, it's cool, but
Oh no!
If you
it's there. It's just after that bubbly drink there, it's like trying to gather all my thoughts because it's finally starting to kick in. But
seeing the many sides of Cenewulf tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are many sides and there are many facets to me. I have done many. Well, I mean, yeah, I've done a lot of shit, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Before the pandemic, I used to throw on about 15 to 20 pounds of medieval armor and compete in a full contact recreationist game / group called the Society for Creative Anachronism.
Like LARPing?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Like there is a LARPing element because you do develop a persona, but the actual fighting is all full contact.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, some of your fucking armor you wore in the
I wear it on
protest.
Street. Yeah.
That's some hardcore shit.
Yep. There you go, just for a point of reference. Yep. I've also worn that on a field and have gotten hit with that on.
Totally fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, that was good. That was a good hit. And then I go and I lay down until like some guy until one of the marshals, which are usually they're like the referees for this game and everything.
Right.
So they tap on my shield and say, "All right, you can get off the field." It's like, "All right, cool." We go grab some water and then just, oh boy, here I go killing again, and you run back out.
Must suck. I mean, during COVID, you can't do any of that shit.
Nope. Can't do that. Can't do live music. Yeah. That's been the one that's really been rough, and I really feel like I took that for granted.
Right.
Was live music and going to the arcade.
For sure.
Should be going a lot more.
Well, bro, as we close this out, like I mentioned to you that we do this thing called couch co-optionals. Is there something like other than video games you would like to share with the people? Tell them to go check out or eat or drink or watch or read.
Okay, so first off, the first thing I'm always going to mention our Lord and Savior Kenshiro, the divine successor of the Hokuto Shinken. Go watch Fist of the North Star. Watch it start to finish. Great anime.
All right. I've seen it. I've seen it a couple times.
I started getting into these quote unquote gamer supplements, which is really just like energy drinks, and I've been trying this stuff from Pyre. I'm not gonna show the thing, but it's pretty dope. It's getting the job done. I did a stream the other day and I did the unboxing of it, and I took a little bit of it, and that was a mistake because it was 8:00 at night and I was tired until about 4 a.m. taking the recommended.
Right.
So, like, a lot of fucking energy. I'll definitely be using it when I do my next 24 hours.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yep.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else you want to share?
Anything?
I mean, we can find you. We can find you on Twitch. We can find you on Facebook, Twitter.
So yeah, you can find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as Cenewulf. That is CENEWULF.
Awesome, bro. Dude, this has been awesome. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
this
for
was fun
agreeing
as
to
hell.
chat.
Oh
Um,
yeah, we should do this again.
oh yeah, we totally can. Anyway, it went out live on Twitch, and then I'll put it out as our podcast Monday. It's our next
All
episode.
right.
So, and I'll send you the link for all that if you
All
want.
right.
But dude,
Appreciate it.
thank you again so much. Let me hit the closing here.
All right. All right. All right.
I want to thank you all for listening and remind you that, and for watching, that you can leave feedback on our Twitter, our Facebook, and our Instagram at Couch Co-op Shows. All one word, no hyphen. Remember to please subscribe, share, maybe leave us an iTunes review if possible. That would be awesome. I want to thank Cenewulf again for being on the show. Great little conversation we had. Thank you for joining me here on the couch.
Appreciate
For Couch Co-op, I'm Ian.
you.
Reminding you to please be excellent to each other.
Excellent.
All right, dude.
Yeah, this was fun, man.